If everything plays out the way people suspect it's going to play out, Marvel Studios will introduce a variant version of Venom into the MCU, or more specifically, a variant version of Eddie Brock to be more precise. So let's talk about why I think this would be a huge mistake for Marvel Studios. So we all know that Marvel Studios, through the use of Loki, introducing us to variants and other versions of Lokis, has brought the concept of variants in the multiverse to the casuals. Now it's just acceptable. You see another version, you go, huh, that's a variant. Oh, look at that, that's a variant. Why doesn't that make sense? Could be a variant. It's kind of crazy how far Marvel Studios has taken casual audiences into understanding how the comics have always done it. It's just become part of the normal conversation at this point. So when it comes to what happens with Venom next, many people, scoopers and journalists out there on their own blogs and websites are saying, hey, there's more likely this chance that when we see Venom in the MCU, it's not gonna be the Eddie we all know. There's a possibility they're going to be recasting Eddie Brock Venom. And as I always say, it doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take a ace journalist and scooper to realize that this is exactly what they can do without any problems. That's the idea of the whole concept now. That's why it exists. So, yeah, I think definitely Marvel Studios, when it comes to their version of Venom and whatever they're going to do in the future, they legitimately are probably going to recast. And I think that's a huge mistake, because Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock honestly is one of the best parts of those two films. But I think the problem is, and how Marvel Studios would perceive it, is the baggage it brings with it. So from their perspective, you would want to recast and do something different. Now, I will argue that they should just get Tom Hardy and make him play a different version of the character. Make him play a variant of Eddie Brock. And this one, you can do whatever you want. And I know that might get a little confusing for some people, but again, the concept of the variants, the multiverse and everything is being explored, and it's a huge factor now. So it's not that far out of the question that they could do it. And yes, some people might be confused because they're confused by everything, honestly. I mean, they still share the memes where it's like, you gotta watch Ant-Man and the Wasp after Homecoming and 6 films before Endgame. You're like, how does that even make sense? What? And also you watch Iron Man 2 right after Iron Man 3. Okay? Like, people legit share those memes and they're like, I'm doing my marathon, look at this is how I'm watching. It's like, oh, how? Man, you're casual. Again, there are those people, right, where the uber nerds are like, actually, yeah, gotta intercut Nick Fury's big week. Again, nothing against the people that aren't as nerdy as us, but it does cause a little confusion. But I do think personally it'd be a huge disservice to Tom Hardy to not bring him back and to recast him. Now, of course, Marvel Studios, I think, just has different ideas of how they want to handle things. And in regards to what happens next, I think you got to wait for a rollout of statements and a future defining sort of announcement that's like, hey guys, check it out. We're definitely doing Tom Hardy versus Tom Holland, Venom versus Spider-Man, but wait till you see how we do it. And I think that's the big factor here. It's going to be a while, because whatever they decide to do, it's going to get support and backlash. But I think recasting Venom is a huge mistake if that's what they aim to do, because everybody seems to love Tom Hardy in the role. He's not the problem. The problem is the script around him.